There's no denying FromSoftware being a top-tier team. Not only did they create the Souls-like genre we know and love today, but they are one of the, if not the most efficient developers out there. Just in the time I've been covering Souls-like games, FromSoftware has released Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, DLC for both of them, Sekiro, Elden Ring, and Armored Core 6. That's 5 critically acclaimed games, with 2 of them being Game of the Year. And not to mention Elden Ring DLC coming in June this year. That is insane output. FromSoftware are the best in my opinion. However, as other developers took a page from FromSoftware and created their own version of Souls-like games, FromSoftware continued doing their own thing this whole time, keeping a lot of the same formulas and doing things their way, which to their credit works immensely. Giving their Souls game an open world in Elden Ring really showed us that FromSoftware are not messing around and they can do it all. I'm actually running through Elden Ring again to get ready for the DLC, and I'm falling in love all over again. But I can't help but notice some things do feel a bit outdated. After so many other Souls-like games have taken a page from FromSoftware and evolved this genre, maybe it's time for FromSoftware to take some small pages from them going forward. Lies of P, for example, lets us know when we have enough ergo to level up. The simple feature of the Souls changing color when we have enough to level up is a quality of life feature I want FromSoftware to implement. I can't tell you how many times I think I have enough souls, and when I go to level up, I am just shy of what I need. The souls simply changing color is enough to let us know. Not to mention letting us know how much we dropped when we died as well. Lies of P did this, and I felt it was a nice little touch. These little changes can really go a long way. The FromSoft Souls purists may disagree with this next one, but I feel the multiplayer in FromSoftware games really needs some work. It's not the worst out there, but I think it's time for a tune-up. Using a consumable item just to bring in another player I think is outdated and needs to go. In the case of Elden Ring, I'm playing with 2 other friends in this playthrough we're doing, and we always have to be at the same grace to meet up, use an item, and then put our signs down. And after a couple times of someone dying and having to meet back up at that grace, especially if they haven't even reached that grace yet, it just has us spending more time on meeting up than there needs to be. Granted, it works well, we don't really have connection issues these days, but it still just feels time consuming and outdated. Just let me sit down at a bonfire and call in my friends. Again, I know purists may not like this, but I just think it's time to update the quality of life on multiplayer. Also, can we please have the choice to stay together after a boss fight too? I mean, come on, man. Why do we gotta constantly meet up over and over? Next, and this is just kind of a personal next-gen feel that I want to have in Souls games, and that is dismemberment and epic destruction. I would love to be chased by bosses that are knocking down trees, walls, and whatever else is in the way. I know this is a lot to ask from FromSoftware's engine, but man, it would be awesome. I'd also love some dismemberment with the enemies. That goes beyond just knocking off their tail or something. I want arms falling off. Pieces of their armor coming off as well would be really awesome. Not to mention, I want to hear them smack talk me a bit more during the fight. Remnant 2's DLC really showed me that bosses can talk a lot of shit, and I love that. Also, I wouldn't mind different animations for the backstabs. I think that would be pretty sick. Although I'm somewhat a purist on this specifically, and I love the original sound and animation, it doesn't get old, but I'd be open to different animations to fit FromSoftware's style. Next up, I have probably the most quote-unquote easy mode thing I want, but I want to be able to hit enemies when they're on the ground, or being backstabbed by someone else. I'm tired of waiting for these jerks to get up, and even then I have to wait another second for my attack to register. Basically, let us gang up on these enemies. I know it would change the dynamic a bit and make it somewhat easier in a sense, but this whole waiting around for the iframes to leave can be annoying at times. Don't get me wrong, iframes are needed in certain situations, and I'm not saying get rid of them completely, especially if I'm opening a door or something like that. I'm not trying to get hit in the back, but these bosses I don't feel deserve the same courtesy. Let me slap them around when they're in the middle of an animation getting backstabbed. I want that. Okay, that's as easy mode as we're gonna go here. I'm sure there's more we could come up with, so let me know what you would change about FromSoftware's Souls games going forward. Tell me in the comment section. I posed this question to you guys on my community tab here on the channel, and here's a few of those answers I got. I noticed a few of you wanting the weapon crafting and upgrading to evolve. I can agree with a lot of this. Trying different weapons can sometimes be detrimental to you in FromSoftware games because you can spend resources leveling them up and then essentially waste them on a weapon you might end up not liking, and then you're kind of stuck with it as it is. This is a risk and reward thing, and I don't want to take that away from FromSoftware per se, but I can agree that some quality of life fixes are welcomed on this. I thought this response was interesting, and this is from Rin. I'm probably saying your name completely wrong. Let me know, and I'm sorry. But they say, one of the biggest things I have to say about this is after playing Remnant and God of War Ragnarok, the gameplay of Elden Ring, while still captivating and having a high learning curve in some cases, is slightly on the slow side. That's a lot of S's and a lot of lisp. But yeah, you did say some interesting things here. Remnant has definitely showed a great example of action and starting with a lot of action. Of course, the guns helped with that. But when it comes to the learning curve and what you're talking about in this comment, I could only guess that maybe you're saying the learning curve is there and it can just take a bit longer than other games such as Remnant and God of War. And to, I guess, go from knowing nothing to getting good, that can take a minute, that can take a process. And that's probably the reason why a lot of people drop the game, right? We've talked about this before when it comes to Souls games and the genre not clicking for people. Maybe it just takes too long for it to click. So I think that's where you're going with this comment. I could be wrong, let me know. And if you guys watching this want to interpret it in your own way too, let me know as well. But yeah, that learning curve is kind of a special one because yes, when it comes to the Souls games, the challenge is often talked about. I always do. I always appreciate that challenge, and it's what makes these games so much better in my opinion. So I don't want to take that away. But when it comes to the initial getting started, maybe that could be sped up a tad, right? Maybe just a tad. It is 2024. We've been here. We know what's going on with these games. Maybe we can get the newcomers to get there a little bit quicker. So what do you guys think? That's just a few things to get the conversation rolling. I might make a follow-up video, but these were kind of the ones that stood out to me, especially playing Elden Ring again with multiplayer. Those were kind of the ones I wanted to focus on. And the others, you know, they're kind of things that could change or not. I'm still gonna love these games. I mean, it's me. So you guys know I'm a simp for the FromSoftware games, but in terms of being critical about the things we love, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm fully open to doing that. I did have issues with Elden Ring the first time around with bosses that repeated and things like that, bosses that didn't feel too inspired. But now that I'm back playing it, I mean, there's just so much to love about it, and there's so much more that's better than the negatives. So at the end of the day, we can still be constructive and still be critiquing the games we love. And I love that FromSoftware in their own way does evolve these games. But to go even further, I think that would be welcomed in certain instances, and that's what I want to talk about. So you guys, let me know what you think, what could be improved, evolved, a page from another game they could take. Let me know. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.